You wouldn't believe it. I've been so excited to make this video today, given I'm a seller of Luke Metcalf, and it's very, very sad. I've been talking him up for years now. Saw last week and just thought, I'm not a part of it. There's some reasoning to it. We'll go through that quickly before we talk through his incredible game, the team's incredible game, and congrats to the Warriors. They came out and played so much better than the Eagles. And my theory around the Metcalf one was he was coming up against Manly, who played incredible last week. They should have come out and played at least somewhat decent, and they were terrible. And the Warriors dominated them. They won by 20, which was incredible. Next week, he comes up against Crichton and Nwangi Tawaze. So I was like, these two games, if Manly, beat them pretty comfortably, then he has to come up against, Crichton, who he's definitely going to have some missed tackles against. And if they have 3 poor games in a row, they then have a bye in round 5. I just felt like the money wasn't going to be made. What I didn't expect was them to come out and put 36 points on, him kick 6 goals, have a try. Oh, that try. 2 try assists as well. And just very limited on the negatives. They hardly ran the footy at him, which was interesting to see. In terms of his run meters was very similar. It was only 15 more. The kick meters were very much the same. So my analysis on it was pretty fair, but the old hold a trade and see what happens 100% worked in the favor of the people that did hold the trade. So personally for me, I lost out on 21 points in this transaction and obviously some cash gains from Metcalf losing the trade as well. We'll see how it plays out, but look, when that cutout ball was thrown over the top, when I looked like it was going into the Warriors' hands, as soon as he caught it and he was getting tackled, I saw the pass go to Lautua on the inside, and I saw Metcalf next to him, and I was like, he's 100% passing to Metcalf. And as soon as he passed it to him, if you wanted to describe the feeling, it was as good as when everyone claps out in the crowd when you've just got 100 and, the helmet or the floppy, that was the best day, is coming off. That's pretty much the exact same feeling that was for me as those days where I could score 100 back in my non-retirement days. So congrats to Metcalf owners. Gee, that cooked me, and it was another lesson for myself. I felt like the strategy was there, but it didn't work out in this one. And if it worked out in the favor, or in my favor, the way I thought it was going to be, then he's probably, kicking 2 or 3 goals. He has 1 try assist, doesn't have a try, doesn't have a second try assist, and you're looking at somewhere near the high 30s, which, coming off the low 20s into the high 30s, it didn't feel like it was an awesome guy to hold. But he came out, he played great. The turnaround was incredible, especially in that first half. He was kicking everything where, CHT was kicking for a lot more in Vegas. He wasn't in that first half, and it did turn around in that second, and apparently he's got a broken nose as well. So to play through that, it was just before halftime as well. Probably makes sense why he was actually sitting on 50 with a minute and a half to go, and I was like, I can get away with 50 with how well he's played. To then have that final try, that was the real nail in the coffin for sure. And if you're a seller like myself, hopefully you went to Humphreys, and I think that was a better trade. But personally, for me, Metcalf to Gilbert, it hasn't worked out this week, and with Gilbert getting low minutes, it's just how it works, isn't it? When you do make a trade that a lot of people are saying that is potentially could be a hold as well. And I want to say a big shout out to both Mitch and also Nicky in there for I think Scoop sold like myself, so we're on at least it's 2v2 in that one. But Nicky spoke about Gilbert and maybe holding off a week, just seeing how it plays out, whether that trade was going to be a Metcalf to him or something like that. Like Metcalf to Humphreys made a lot of sense, and Mitch was talking about that as well. He said, and it's where the luck box comes in, Mr. Mitchie. All I've heard him talk about is like, I ended up changing this to that because this happened, and it worked out perfectly, and that happened again last night for him. So keep riding it, brother, all the way to first overall, please. You deserve it. With that one there was it was very interesting. I lost my train of thought on that one, but Nicky just mentioned Gilbert just probably waiting. Mitch ended up not trading at all this week because he already had Humphreys and kept Metcalf. So shout out to him on that one. And another reason why you should watch their videos, guys. They're awesome fantasy coaches, and just gives different perspectives. And personally for me, I saved cash in the bank to be able to make a couple of trades, and going into the week, wasn't wavering on them at all. Was happy with them until the games happened. But to be honest, this one hurt. But the second game actually hurt a little bit more with Isaiah Yeo. So yeah, I actually can't believe that happened. But we'll get into that a little bit further. But that's Metcalf. He played incredible. Let's see how it goes over the next few weeks. There probably will be a couple of people that trade him back in next week, and I'd probably advise against it. Coming up against that left-hand side, and we obviously saw the Roosters actually play pretty good last night and a real fighting effort, and they are going to get a few players back, with Bradley and the like most likely. Wade Egan, very, very impressive in this game. He has these games there where he absolutely can dominate, and had big run meters as well to go along with his 41 tackles and the try. So shout out to Wade in that one with a 73. And Fisher Harris, the minutes came back, an extra 12 minutes. So so Mitch was pretty excited with this one with Metcalf and Fisher Harris, and I don't think he was caring about Garrick, that's for sure, but I'll let him tell you all his thoughts in his video on Tuesday morning. But Fish with a 57, if you did hold, it was always a hold for him. Definitely would have been trading him to Gilbert or even Horsburgh, and I think Horse could get 57 as well. And it was definitely a good idea to hold Fish. When he gets 51 in 46 minutes, that PPM is incredible. And all he takes is a game like this where he gets that few extra minutes, and you're going to get those extra points. So shout out to him. 40 tackles for 1 miss, 130 run meters. Looked like he could have had another tackle breaker offload in there with just the way that it was going. And thankfully they were able to wrap him up and do a good job that way. But shout out to anyone who does own Fish. I personally had 0 plays in this game after the Metcalf sell. Jason Saab continues to do really well fantasy-wise, 56 and a 53 across the first 2 games for him was really, really nice. Chanel Harris-Tavita, what about this, eh? 50 for him now, 365k. He's averaging 44 across the first 2 games, and he was obviously him and Metcalf now are averaging 44, and Chanel Harris-Tavita was about 80k less expensive, or 90k there. So very, very impressive what he's been able to come up with. Really good on the base stat wise. He's getting some good kick meters, running the footy, tackling well, and he's been awesome. So congrats to anyone who did start with him. It's a lower number at 4%. What's Metcalf at now after that? 21. Damn, that still hurts. So he's a fun one to have a look at for sure. But who's he come up against? Toya. Who's going to be on that right edge now? Is it going to be Wong again? Maybe. Could be Radley. Anyway. Lehigh Hopewadi, if we happen to see the great man Tommy Turbo out for a little bit, and that's super frustrating, we'll have to see what happens with Daly Cherry Evans as well. With Lehigh, very, very likely he goes back to that 1 spot next week, and people still hold out hope for Ruben Garrick, but it should be Lehigh. He's very, very impressive. 240 metres run for him. Did have the 1 try saver, 1 line break, a couple of offloads for him to get 49. Mainly in base is very, very impressive because there was only 1 tackle break there. If he goes back to fullback, he'll be fairly popular, that's for sure. So Lehigh, good work from him there with the 49, and definitely on watch if hamstring tightness is what it's come up with at the moment with Turbo. I think it's very unlikely that he plays next week with the history that he has. 7 hamstring injuries reported since he's been in the NRL. Very, very tough. Tentor Picky. Much better game from him. 47, 9 tackle breaks. Good to get that try. He deserves. He's a really fun player, a really good player to watch. So good on you, Tane. Taniela Paseka having a couple of really good games, to be fair, to start the season. Overall, Turbo wasn't great as their attacking linchpin, and they just continued to have error after error as a team. So Paseka was definitely not the guy to blame. Obviously, he had a few missed tackles in there, but when you put 36 on the board, I think some of these bigger boys are going to miss some tackles, that's for sure. Letua, a really, really good try running off Metcalf there. So congrats to him on that one with the try and the try assist at the end there for him. I think it gets the offload, yeah. So he was actually, 35, 36 before that, which is a little bit annoying considering, the quality that he can possess there. But he's sitting at that 481 price point now after that really tough start and got the try on the board. And if the Warriors can play okay going forward, I think he still definitely has some value. And then good to see Burbo come out and have a better base stat game. For him to have no missed tackles, no errors at all in this game, apart from an inside 10, I think that's a really good start for Burbo, Ben Trebojevic. and he can build into that across the season, because that's something that missed tackles wise and errors that has plagued his game for a while. And DCE, this is a big worry for him. Obviously 43, picked up the try in there. Base stats were fairly normal, didn't run the footy plenty, but they got smashed. This was definitely one of, chasing points. Someone like DCE with splitting the kick meters now, it's just not the ultimate player to buy, and their draw does become a little bit more difficult following the next couple of games. So for Daly, 43, the injury is the big concern here for sure, and hopefully he's okay. Some problem with the lower back. I think it was on the left hand side, right hand side. I don't know, one of the two. There's only two sides, Jamie. But DCE was 43 in that one. If you do own, I think you're in a little bit of trouble with having to potentially sell if the injury is worse. For him to have to go off, it must have been pretty bad. He couldn't really move. So hopefully he's okay. Shout out to him. Mitch Barnett. Now this is the frustrating one. It's obviously, I think it's probably, is it more frustrating than YEO? Just I think, as YEO, I'll have to look. What's the average? 68 and 30. 98. Wow. Yeah, 49. 49 across the two. Barnett's 45 across the two. YEO's definitely worse. So there you go. Maybe people want to sell YEO after that one. I think there'll be some rage trading for Isaiah after that 30. But Barnett with 41 in 62 minutes. Just nothing on the attack side. He looked much stronger when running the footy in those trial games for sure. And it was against lesser opposition. But for Barnett to not have one tackle break or offload and just have it all in base, there's 33 tackles. Obviously, they had the ball plenty and they were pushing it side to side, doing some good work there. But for him to only have 33 tackles, 120 run meters, is pretty gross for owners. And he got the minutes this week. He's up at 62 minutes, which was great that both him and Fish were able to get those extra minutes that owners were asking for. And for the 41, I think it's super frustrating. And with a bye coming up as well, I do think he's a guy that people will jump off and push towards some of the potential options that are coming up. At 700, a little under 700k, he's going to be after lockout. He's definitely one I think people will target as a sell, and I've seen people in the private crew that have mentioned that as well. And shout out to everyone in there that's having an awesome job. And if you're in the comments there's no need for hate. Just tell me how good you're going. You don't have to go, oh, Jamie, you sold Metcalf. Yeah, I know. I already went through it last night, and yeah, I think I'm fine this morning. But it's good to let it out further on the video. As I say, each and every year, these videos to me post game are a way to let off the steam and feel a little bit better going into the rest of the games or the next week. So thanks for that. Let us know how good you're going. I think I'm 480 odd with 7 players so far, which includes Isaiah Yeo's 30 and not having Metcalf. So thankfully, the GOAT, Connor Watson. What a man. We'll get to him shortly. But yeah, Barnett potentially a sell. Aaron Clark, 41. A good return game for him. Still probably, I know, some of the better scores you're going to get. I think you're going to be in that early 40s for Aaron Clark, and he's just an okay guy to have. Not someone that's an immediate sell after this week if you're still held, but a guy that you don't really need in your side. Roger with the try there to get kind of extend the lead, which was great. 40 for him. Congrats to Waz as well. What about the 6 agains in this game? That was wild. I just some Warriors fans going nuts in the first 20 or 30 and then kind of carried it on for the rest of the game. But you can't blame too much given that they had a million 6 agains and they lost someone in the bin for it. So I think that had to have benefited the Warriors in this one, and they obviously won by 20, so something was going right for him. Anywho, Bullymore 40, Capewell 39, 438. Garrick 36, he already had the try assist there. He had 2 goals. Base stat wise was pretty solid. Didn't get to run the footy a heap, given they didn't have the ball much and they were very, very poor. So for him to get 36 in an absolute shocker for his side, I think that's completely fine. So you got 55 last week, 36 here. You basically got what you paid for so far with Garrick, and sometimes that is fine. There's guys that we just mentioned in Barnett, in Isaiah Yeo, that have, unfortunately, after this game especially, have well performed under their expectations and what they're priced at, which can happen. But if you have someone that's at least on par, it's not the end of the world, because you are going to have some guys below and you're going to have some guys above that. So Garrick completely fine. All right. Now this one was a chasing points scenario, and it couldn't have gone any worse for Olakau'atu, to be honest with you there. 7 missed tackles for him. Hardly ran the footy. No tackle breaks, no offloads after having, 10 tackle breaks last week. There are other guys that are a little bit more consistent, and obviously we've even seen Isaiah Yeo not have the consistency. So what can I even say on that? Sometimes the stats do lie. In this scenario, we see Olakau'atu have lower games sometimes. We don't see him go 27. So that was a massive outlier, very similar to that with YEO. Yeah, I'm not expecting anything like this for Olakau'atu going forward. If you did buy this week, you're so disappointed, and I completely understand why. He will bounce back. He will have games where he scores tries again, and hopefully for him, he got on the 70 last week, and then he goes to 27, and then back to 70 next week or the week after. That would be ideal if you're an owner of Olakau'atu. Do not sell. Hold steady. Players like this, you bought him after the good one. He has the crap one. Don't sell him because you know the good one's coming around the corner. Just Tavanga, 25 and 49 minutes. So yeah, definitely a sell if you didn't last week. Trbojevic with 23. Pretty gross. He did get that try early. He had a couple of line break assists, but 4 errors in that first sort of 20 odd minutes. It was really, really frustrating for owners of him. And I was following along in Supercoach, and we got an okay score out of him. Very different to what we've got here in fantasy, and it shows that he's not that clear fantasy guy apart from that 1 year where he averaged like 90 or something. Every other year he's kind of close to that 50 mark, and it just shows that it's kind of difficult for him to get points. 23 and 66 minutes. It's fairly similar to the outing that we had from Tedesco last week, and shout out to Teddy for the bounce back in this one against the Panthers. Simkin 22. Valmargo 11. If you do own him, he's super frustrating. Same with Halasima. At least Dimitrik, he's at an okay price, so you could sell to another cash cow and move on from there. And then Simkin only 31 minutes in this one. They just split with Jazz Tavanga there. All right, let's go to this absolute beauty of a man, and congratulations to the Roosters. What an incredible effort with their basically rookie bench and forwards, and shout out to Zach Clay as well, and that's going to lend us to some thoughts around Connor Watson for sure. But yeah, shout out to their squad. The Panthers were pretty bad as well. The Roosters shouldn't have got anywhere near this one, and for them to put 38 points on. And what about the finish to that game as well? Panthers came back with an absolute flyer. There you go. Apparently it's Virgin's telling me to fly to Townsville from Brisbane, though. That doesn't help me, given I'd be flying out of Sydney, but they wanted me to go watch some Cowboys games. So there you go. Maybe they're going to bounce back this week as well. Where are the absolute drubbings? I do think the Sharks are going to smash us, by the way. So maybe Cows are the only team that gets absolutely trounced this week. But Watson, oh, what a man. Deserves a clap. Thank goodness I have 280s in my team this week. If I didn't, it could have been really sad. But Watson 88, Ponga 86, incredible work. 2 tries for him. Just that little bit of luck, coming back on the inside for Teddy. Thank you, Teddy, for that pass as well. Had the try saver right in the line, 1-on-1. Had the line break for his own try. What's funny in this game, I was like, watch the Metcalf thing. I was like, ugh, the luck was not on my side in that one. And then they had it on the right-hand side. The Roosters like, you just watch. They're going to send it out left, and Nwangani Tuaze is going to go over. And he's the only one, like the center I don't want, the guy I kind of don't have in this side. And of course, that next play, bang, 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 pass it to him. He goes through basically untouched. I was like, what is going on tonight? This is an absolute shocker. And then they bring it back down, and then the next set, Watson just drifts right. I'm like, yeah, get it to Toya. Oh, he just brought them over, took them over the line himself and scored. I was like, and I just had zero emotion. It was so sad. It was so sad. I had that one. I was like, oh, look at this night. And then he went over. I was like, oh, that's good. I needed it to be, the first game, and I would have been going nuts rather than, the state I was in. But very happy with that for Connor. And obviously, as you know, if you are new to this channel, I do ride my emotions pretty hard with NRL Fantasy for sure, and obviously Supercoach to a lesser degree, but definitely the fantasy side, given it's where I make most of my content. So if you like that I wear my heart on my sleeve, sweet. If you don't, then I don't know, skip over the bits where I'm complaining and get to the real numbers analysis. But Watson, incredible. 49 tackles, 1 miss. What we need to talk about with him is the transition role that he plays with Zach Clay, and that changed dramatically in this game. Obviously, for the fact that they're very much lacking middles. So Clay came on for 49 minutes in this one, and Watson moved to 13 and played that role just in the middle. And he didn't have to run the footy plenty, but he did get about 60 to 70 run meters following that transition. So that's massive. And we know that when Watson played at lock last year, it was well into the 65 plus average if he got to stay in that position long term. And that's exactly what we've seen out of him. The outside backs haven't got injured yet, and that's been awesome that Watson hasn't had to move out to the outside backs. He's kept his role in the middle, and it's been absolutely incredible. So shout out to Watson, 76.5 average across the 2 weeks. Very, very happy. As an owner, it's one of my wins of the season along with Dylan Lucas. Very, very happy with those two. They didn't leave my side all preseason, and I'm glad I didn't waver on those because that would have made me upset for sure. But Watson, 88. Daniel Tupou, 67. What a game from him. A couple of tries out there on the left-hand side, 7 tackle breaks as well. Cleary with a nice bump overnight. They did take away a couple of missed tackles, and I was looking at, as Supercoach said, I think they had him at like 4 missed tackles as well. I was like, okay, cool, maybe. Yeah, they had him at 6. Maybe they bring it back down, and they did, thankfully. 5 tackle breaks still. Always gets his over 100 run meters. Kick for 369, which just showed how, obviously, many points were in this game at 70, which is wild, in a game with the Panthers. Not wild with a game with the Roosters at the moment, given they've gone back-to-back like 70-point games. And yeah, Cleary's kick meters were never going to be high on that front, and he came up against Crichton, which was tough, but still enough points across the board to sneak up to a 63, thankfully, as my captain, and I'm happy enough with that in a game where they played very poor. He was on 2 after 20-odd minutes, and I think YEO was on 5 after 20-odd minutes, but I thought, oh, that's going to improve, but he looked dreadful. No idea what's going on there. We'll go and find the last time he scored 30 or below, which I think will be years, to be honest, in games where he played decent minutes. But yeah, Cleary, 63, it's fine. Who are you going to captain next week? Is it going to be May? Is it going to be like you're going to go back to Cleary? I thought he was going to dominate this game, and it wasn't to be. Tedesco, 59 in this one, 3 try assists. Congrats to him for the comeback after the tough round 1, 28 or whatever he got. So a massive score for Teddy. Shout out to you. If you held on, great. If you sold, frustrating. But that's life. It is against the Panthers, and you can't expect the world there. But he delivered. Alamotti, 57. What about that easy try on the back on the inside with that funky new play that they go on the sweep outside, rotate the play, bring it back on the inside, and then whoever it was running through just really sold that, and Wong, a pretty rough effort, to be fair, from him on that one. And he did improve across the game, Wong, with 55, along with his counterpart, Angus Crichton there, both scoring 55. And shout out to Alamotti, he's at 48 across the 2 games, and he looks electric with ball in hand. But Wong and Crichton, both 55 for Wong. He did improve across the game, 5 missed tackles. He did have 2 offloads along with Crichton's 3. Crichton had the line break try assist as well, which was great for him. Tackle numbers really low for Angus, which is interesting how that's played out as well across the last 2 weeks. Tackles have been really low, and we used to see him in the mid to high 30s last year, and that hasn't happened yet. But if you held on, 55 you'll be happy enough with against the Panthers, but we need those base stats to increase dramatically because he does have the offloads, he has the tackle breaks, which is awesome. Attacking stats will come, but if that base stays low, it's going to be hard for me to see him anywhere near the 60 mark. Wong's going to have a few players back in the next couple of weeks. So if you did start with him, you have been blessed with the fact of the injuries, and that should change over the next few weeks. Blake Steep with a nice comeback as well after ending up that first game fairly low, near that 30 mark, and then it picked up a 53 and 46 here and showed his chops for sure, along with Nafahu White at 51. So it was a clear hold, and if you started with him, again, a benefit from a lot of the injuries, and 58 minutes for Nafahu in this one for 30 tackles, and got to run the footy a lot more at 151, getting him that offload, getting him those tackle breaks. So I do own still in Supercoach, and didn't play him, of course. I played Toya instead, just with the potential for more upside, and I only missed out on like 14 points or something. But for White, a really good hold in fantasy, along with Blake Steep. If you did buy, he's going to be one that will eventually leave this side potentially, or he's the last man on the list, similar to Feketi, when they do get, even like Egan Butcher back as well as Nat and the like. Zach Clay, 46 minutes. Sorry, so it was 49 in 46, not 49 minutes. But he was great as well. Was very helpful for them. And yeah, I wonder if he keeps his spot in this side at all. Good chance for sure, unless they get all those forwards back at once. We'll have to see how that plays out. And how good Sandon Smith. I was laughing just this morning. He's just sitting in my emergencies, and he has the first 2 weeks. And I'm going to hold Sandon Smith and not play him probably all the way until like round 10 when he's 500k, and I probably still haven't played him. Like, you'll have made 250k, and I probably haven't played him once. Although we'll see what happens when I've got my Knights players out. I'm sure if they're playing someone decent in that week, I might have to play him. But yeah, I was having a laugh about that. 45.5 average across the 2 games, scoring a try in both. picking up 5 goals, kicking really well from the goals, by the way, and 1 try assist as well. And actually, shout out to Ruben Garrick for that terrible miss for their first try of the game. That was very, very close. Although Cleary missed one at the end there that was strangely close, and he made all the ones on the sideline. So there you go. A standard 47. I think you have to get him in. He's scoring. He's playing too well. And yeah, as a half there, he's obviously running the footy. Plenty of toe there to get away and get away from the defender and not get tackled there when he got the ball for that try. So very impressive with the speed as well. And then Lindsay Smith with 49 in 49 minutes. He had the head knock, which I think ruined their rotation a little bit for him, and he didn't perform that well. They only had 24 tackles as well. So you can see the low tackle numbers from a lot of the Panthers. We haven't seen too many of them at this stage. There was a fair bit of side to side, a lot of standing under the sticks, a lot of tackle breaks, a lot of missed tackles in this game, and that did not benefit guys like Lindsay Smith and clearly Isaiah Yeo. Sorensen with 25 tackles in 68 minutes as well. Liam Martin 31, so it wasn't ideal across the board for tackles there. Townsend 41, he went off right at the end as well, which actually didn't catch that last few minutes apart from the highlights. So I was very, very frustrated with Isaiah Yeo in that last 15 minutes away to the left. That's for sure. I just watched the highlights of that last couple of tries this morning. But let me know what happened with the Chad in that one at the end. Casey McLean, 38, picked up a try, 2 line breaks, solid enough for him. How good's Rob Toya, guys? 38 for him in this game. For him to beat Nwangani Tuaze, who had 2 offloads, a line break assist, a line break, a try assist, and a try, and he still only got 35, Mark. That is wild how that played out. Obviously, not even a tremendous amount of negatives. 10 negatives in this one. Just the run meters was low. Like, plenty of attack, but didn't happen a lot on that side. But you got like guys like Rob Toya, who's 16 tackles for 1 miss, 113 run meters, picked up obviously a kick defusal, a turnover tackle, an offload, and 3 tackle breaks. Just really, really good efforts, and I'm very glad to be owning him and happy that I ended up playing him as well once he got updated from 28-29 to that 38 overnight, which was good. So he's in my starting 17. Just thought with that 61 upside, he's got it, and he definitely does. To have 38 with no attacking stats is super impressive, and I think we'll play him each and every week, especially next week. I think they come up against the Wars there, which I think will be a fun little clash on that left-hand side against, what they got there, Capewell. Cape Goat. Dom Young, 1 try. Yeah, fine. Not what someone we want to own at this stage of the season, with the Roosters playing better in this game, but yeah, they're not the team they were last year. And you want him in Supercoach more than you want him in Fantasy. Sorensen 36, not one we want to look at as yet. Nwangani Tuaze, spoke about him. Happy enough with the 35, I think, against Panthers, and he's looking solid for sure. Still has some errors in his game, but he helped them pick up a couple of tries there, and that's all you need, from him. If he can benefit on the attacking side for now, that should be enough at this point until he gets some improvement in his legs. Dylan Edwards, 59 minutes, with the injury. So this one's going to be very interesting as well, how this one plays out. Do we see Dane Laurie, for a longer period of time from here? He just continues to score so well when he gets his chance. So 22 for Dane Laurie. If Edwards is out for any stretch of time, Dane Laurie is going to be a very interesting and good purchase, especially for those that are looking for a wing fullback. He comes out and he just does the business. 89 run meters, 2 tackle breaks, picked up a try saver as well. He'll got a forced dropout in there. He's going to have different types of stats, which is great, and we've seen him absolutely dominate in both fantasy and Supercoach there. So that's Laurie. I love how I just skipped down because of Edwards. It's like, haven't even gone through YEO yet. How sad. How sad. He's usually first on our list or close to it. But yeah, Laurie's going to be a very interesting player to look at. Henry with 26 minutes coming back from his injury. Edwards, if you do own, I think it's a sell now at this point. But again, we'll find out more information. Yeah, Liam Martin with 33, 77 minutes for him with that early head knock in the first half. Isaiah Yeo, 30. Even had a line break assist. Shows how important line break assists are. Not 30. All right. I was looking at Connor Watson, I think, for a bit there, just showing, just taking it in. Taking it in. All right. Let's have a look. What do we got? Isaiah Yeo, 30. That's so disgusting. His lowest score last year was 47 off the bench. These scores, man. How do you get a 30 in this? That is so disgusting. All right, let's scroll down. Scroll down. Still, I've only seen a 40 in 76 minutes. 2023, we're at right now. 47 in 2022, 47, 44 is his next lowest in 2022, 35 in round 19 of 2022 in 75 minutes. Keep going. Oh, this is getting sad now. 8 in 9 minutes. We can't count that. 42, but that was in 53 minutes. Oh, this is hurting my soul. 35 in 48 minutes in 2020. Come on, guys. He wasn't even playing lock anymore. Oh, the next time he played 80 minutes was in second row in 2019 against the Sharks. In the second row, he had a 20. We had to go back 6 years to see a score where he got even close to 30. I am absolutely gobsmacked at how this one's played out. Seriously, guys. I don't even understand what happened. He looked disinterested. They obviously ran at edges, but he just never went in and found the contact. He was just waiting for it to come to him. There has to be something come out that he wasn't well, for sure, because he was out there. He did, he played his role at certain points, but for him to play like that, 25 tackles, 4 misses, like you just never see him make 4 misses. Like he had 54 for 4 in round 1 in 2023. Like that's the last time he had 4 misses. When does he go under 30 tackles? Well, round 12 last year he had 28. There you go. But still had a 55 score because they had the ball more. But for him to have 125 run meters, no tackle breaks, no offloads, this was the outlier of all outliers. I've never seen anything like it from him, and you won't again, surely, in 80 minutes. For him to play 80 minutes in this game and go 30, that makes me really sad. And obviously he's owned by 29% of people, and thank goodness, because that's going to hurt my soul for a while, that one. I cannot believe it. I actually cannot believe it that it's happened. So we'll deal with it. We'll move on. 35 below where he's priced at. That's going to hurt, and people are going to be able to pick him up really cheap, and that sucks. That really sucks. We need him to go 75 or 80 next week just to fix up that break even and get him back, keep him at 840 and above, that's for sure. But he'll go down 25k or so after this one. He'll be 840 next week, and probably a buy, but there you go. Can't believe it. 21, Jack Cole, 19, ugh. Ouch. Five missed tackles, 2 errors. I wonder if they're going to make any moves with this spot. Just really surprising this is how poor he's been fantasy-wise in the couple of games, and that really just shoots down his price jumps for sure. And we'll see what we have to do with him next week. Is Blaze Slungy going to get an opportunity? We'll find out soon. Fekete with 15, 32 minutes, had the sin bin as well. Not great. So neg 11 overall, and he looked solid early, but then it just didn't happen for him. So if you did trade him in, unfortunately, it was probably in the end going to be a 1 week play, very sadly, and he'll make a little bit of cash, but nothing like he would have hoped, and didn't get up the minutes, obviously, which he would have got closer to that 40 for sure, but wasn't to be in this one. And Luke Garner 30 minutes for his 10, and we had Savala with 11 minutes, and then you had Lasalu with 21 minutes there. So there you go, guys. We'll leave it at that. Leota, for those that were talking about Leota after round 1, backed it up with a 21 in 42 minutes. So I think people were jumping the gun on the Leota one. There's a reason he's 419k or 407 pre round 1. That's for sure. So let's just keep an eye on Toto as well. That was his lowest. He's obviously played just the one game. At 21 for him, it will turn around at some point. If we can get him at the low 500s, that could be really, really fun when they start to turn the corner and play really well. And then Isaac Tungo with 22 to finish this one off. Really rough one for him. 3 missed tackles, not much on the running side, an offload and a tackle break, but they got beat pretty bad, and it was never going to be a good one for someone like him. So hopefully for the Panthers and for my Isaiah Yeo, that it can be a nice bounce back next week. And thankfully for Cleary, he still picked up a 63. I had Connor Watson in the side to 88 in that one. Super, even just saying 88 for Watson just gives me a little smile on the face. So thanks so much, guys. If you made it to the end, I do really appreciate all of you guys for getting through my dribble on a Saturday morning. I wish you guys all the best of luck heading into the rest of round 2 there, and Super Saturday kicking off with, I believe, some Rabbitohs. We got a little Charity Shield rematch, and I think it's going to be a fun clash. So we'll see how that one goes. If you've got a few plays in that, Humphreys, pray for a Humphreys 70. I'm expecting a 50 plus from him, and we'll see how that goes. So thanks, guys, and we'll catch you in that next video going through those games.